your wife is literally a gold mine. Many people have been married for many years, 10 years, 12 years, 8 years, 15 years, and have lived oblivious of this truth. Now, today's video is going to be talking about this. If you want to get the full gist, you want to understand why I said that your wife is a gold mine, please do not go away. I'll be right back after a quick break.
My God, what would I do without your love? Marvelous God, feel the warmth of your arms around me. Look what you done already. Look what you done already. My eyes are open to see.
Welcome back to my channel. My name is Emike Osuma. As always, I am your storyteller serving you inspiration, wisdom nuggets, and tips that help you stay on course with God's original design for your life. Yes, like I always like to say, there is an original design for your life, and that's the only way we can live authentically and live fulfilled lives. All right, so to today's video, I'm sure you're wondering, what does she mean by your wife is a gold mine? Tap into her. Okay, so I think some weeks ago I had posted a video, a short video on Instagram, and I said that my next YouTube video was going to be about that video. And this is like forever later. I finally got to do this video. So on your screen, you're going to just see the picture from that video I talked about on Instagram when I said, oh, my next video is going to be about this. There's a story behind that picture you're looking at. So I'm going to be diving into that story. I hope that you learn a thing or two from this. So on the very day that picture was taken, it was a Sunday. And for those of you who do not know, and I don't think there's anyone who's following here who doesn't know that my husband is a pastor, right? So Sundays are usually a very heavy day for us. It's a very long day. Most of the time we're the last people to leave church, you know. So on this particular day, we had a zonal couples program after the normal Sunday service, and that day was our second daughter's birthday. So that was quite a full day, you know. But we had to go for this program, but we were really, really sincerely tired. We were very, very tired. Like, we really actually did not feel like going. Truth be told, there are many things that we do that you do not feel like doing, right? That's part of adulting, like they say, it's part of adult life, right? You know, so we didn't feel like going for this meeting. We're very exhausted. So we came back home, dropped the kid, and my husband was like, he's not even going to enter the room because if he goes inside and takes off his necktie, that he's not going to come out. He knows he's going to just fall on the bed and sleep. But so he didn't go into the room. He waited for me in the car. I think he just drank water also, then went to the car to wait. So we actually still wore the same clothes to go to church because there was no time. We are running late. So when we were going, there was traffic on the way. There were so many valid reasons to make us turn around and go back home and say, you know what, we're not going for this meeting. So we pushed on, we went, we got there. When we got there, the next hurdle was that there was no parking space. The place was the convenient parking spaces were all taken. So that means we had to park across the road. We had to go turn. You know how Lagos roads are. You can be on one side of the road and your parking space is just across the road, but you can't carry your car on your head and cross. You have to go forward and turn, drive some distance. So we had to drive some distance as we were going. It was really tempting to just zoom off and go home from there. So we eventually turned, we parked, and then we now had to cross that busy expressway to the venue. We eventually crossed, and my goodness, by that time I was really like very, very exhausted and fagged out. But we got in, we settled in, and thankfully the meeting, the program was very impactful. Every minute of that program we actually learned something. It was not the usual church setting, so we had couples share their real life experiences, you know, some very vulnerable moments, and they were not things that we're used to seeing. So we learned a lot on that during the program. And in spite of all the stress and all the good reasons to have missed the meeting, we were happy we came. Now, so fast forward to the juicy part, okay? So, um, my as the program went on, our zona pastor came up and was like, you know what, we're just talking generally about being nice to your spouse, being kind to your wife, being intentional about how you treat her. So it was not like, what's wrong with your wife receiving an alert from you of maybe 1 million naira? It's not school fees, it's not house rent, it's not anything. You're just giving her a treat, you're just spoiling her. And it was like, in fact, we're going to do it now. Let's practice this. Now, he said it's not about the amount. It may not be 1 million naira, right? But just credit her account as she's sitting right there with you. And while he was talking, we started hearing, shouts of joy, jubilation in different corners of the hall as husbands were crediting their wives' account. And oh wow, it was beautiful to see. So between me and my darling husband, we had 9,000 naira. So we're sitting there in that hall on that particular day. So when the senior pastor said that, we're just looking on, and my husband took his phone. He now swiped to the his bank app. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, don't touch that money, you." But he didn't even answer me. The next night, I saw an alert. He sent me 5,000 naira. I was so excited. That's when I really realized, or not that I don't know. I know that alerts are magical. They just have a way of lighting you up, no matter the amount. So I was so excited. I was particularly thrilled because he had given from his need, quote and unquote. Like, he didn't have to give. That was a lot to let go at that time. But he gave it, and I could see he was just smiling. I could see that fulfillment on his face, and I was so happy. I was very grateful. I thanked him. And then he told me, he said, remember to pray for me. So now that's one of the things he started doing intentionally. Now you may ask me, you've been married for 14 years. This year will be 15 years by God's grace. And you may be asking, so is it that he's not been giving you money before now? So why was that a big deal? Yes, he had been giving me money, but there is something about doing things intentionally, putting your heart to it, consciously taking a particular step. So I think it was in like maybe 2 years before then. That was when my husband said he just discovered the late Ubong King, God rest his soul. And he was so inspired. I remember he would just sit up late at night watching video after video, you know, and he was so blessed by the tips he was sharing. And one of the things Ubong King said in one of his messages, or several of his messages, he said that he talked about the need to consciously appreciate your wife, consciously love your wife, consciously spend on your wife. He now said there was a time where what he called a precious gift to his wife was not even up to 1,000 naira, but he would buy it. He would give it to her and tell her, "I'm giving this to you. Pray for me. As I'm giving this to you, pray for me." And he will give her. He just made it a practice to go out when he's coming back. He buys her something, right? So my husband picked that, and I'm grateful to God for that. But my husband learns, he puts it to work in our marriage. That's one of the things I'm grateful to God for. He does not say, "Oh, I'm a pastor, I know it all, I don't need to learn anything." When he learns something new, he actually comes home and he practices it. So on that particular day, he called me. It was away in Edo State on a site. It was a very, very challenging job. He had to travel from Lagos. He would leave the house at 2 a.m. with all the security issues in the country. We're so grateful to God for his protection. He would travel and he would still get there by 9 a.m. That's like 7 hours on the road. And my husband is not like in his 20s. So those are the kind of things that you see young men doing in their 20s, early 30s. And it was so stressful for him. And one of those days was like, look at the message I listened to. It blessed me so much. That's what I was referring to Ubon King's message. So he said, I want to send you money. I want you to pray for me. I'm intentionally doing this now. I'm realizing that you're not just somebody I am married to and doing life with, that there's something about you as my wife praying for me in connection to this thing I have given to you. And that was so significant for me. So I took that money and I remember I went to my prayer corner and I took out time to pray for my husband. And um, a few months, because he was like, he's tired of this kind of job. He does not have to take up just every job because he needs to provide for the family and all of that. So I prayed for open doors, for new opportunities and all of that. And then a month later, somebody called him who was my someone I had met, on Insta. No, from a hangout with my friends. So I met her for the first time there. So she called, she said that she had this contract, but there was a particular part of this contract that was my husband's niche. She didn't have an idea about it, and she remembered that I had posted something about this particular area of architecture on Instagram. So she reached out to me, told me that, oh, she had this job that my husband may be able to execute. So my husband went there the next day, took measurement, and just like that, my husband got that particular job. And that was the biggest job he had ever done as a company. From the time he registered his own company till that time, it was a lot. It was massive. Like, we were so amazed, and we were like, wow, this thing works. Remember, I told you to pray for me. I was like, the next month or a few weeks later, that job opened up. Now, back to our story of that couple's dinner. So my husband sent me that 5K, and we went home. As we were going home, we are like, ah, we are grateful we came. Oh, coconut head spirit is not good. It's not good to have coconut head spirit. All of us, sometimes you can have that the tendency to just yield to. No, don't yield to it. It is a door closer. So we're so grateful that, thank God, even though we had valid reasons to stay at home, we still came. So the next morning, remember, it was 5K gift to me. The next morning, my husband just walked up to me like, I just got an alert from someone. And this someone was not somebody I had spoken to, like maybe in the last 1 year. He was not like an everyday contact. He sent him 500,000 naira. Just like that. In this our economy, my people. And when he sent the screenshot of the receipt, the caption was, as the spirit instructed. My goodness, I was amazed. Like, just a few hours later, from 5K to you getting 500K, I do not even understand it. We were so excited, we were so blown away, and that just reinforced that principle of him consciously giving me money. Not just, you can dutifully give your wife money, and she too will dutifully receive it. So we had that mindset re-engineering in that regard, so that when he now gave me money, I'm consciously receiving it, and he is consciously giving. We were really, really blown away. One of the things that also stood out to us was that when God has something in store for you, there would always be reasons not to show up for that meeting, or take up that assignment, or take up that responsibility. Just know that when it looks as though all hell is breaking loose, when you're about to carry out an instruction, do something God wants to do, know that that is the enemy fighting you. Know that there is something on the other side that you would never experience if you do not take that inconvenient step. So that now became a principle that no one can take from us. There's something about arguing about, like, people argue about tithing. Oh, tithing, don't tithe. Hey, Old Testament. A man who has walked with God, who has seen results, does not take part in such baseless arguments, right? So my husband and I are in the place where it's not a teaching, it's not a doctrine to us. It is our real life experience that there is something about consciously blessing your wife, giving her money. Remember what the Bible says about treating your wives with understanding, treating them right, so that your prayers are not hindered. Many people actually just they trivialize these things, and they wonder why life is so hard. Life does not have to be so hard. Yes, I know there are other principles, right? I'm not saying that's the only thing you have to do to become prosperous. I'm saying it's one of those things that we should learn. Husbands should take this tip and add it to their toolkit of what can make them prosperous in life, right? So that is my gist about that evening. I hope that somebody has learned something. I hope that you're going to go out there to go and give your wife money intentionally, right? Intentionally give your wife money and see these things work for you in your own home. And let me say this in closing: do not act like you are cast a stone in your marriage. One of the things that has helped us over the years is that we learn. Our hearts are open. We are not close-minded. We do not assume that we know, okay? When we learn something new, we put it to practice as we are learning. And it has helped us. It's like a grease that makes the engine flow with ease. That's how it has been for us. Every new thing we learn, put it to work. So I'd like you to go back, share this video with your friends, newly married couples, those who be married for long. Share this with those who you think would benefit from this, and watch your life bloom with the result of taking this kind of steps. Thank you for stopping by from your busy schedule to watch this video to this particular point. I'm so grateful. If you are yet to subscribe, kindly subscribe to this channel. And please pardon me, when I started this video, I did not welcome my first time subscribers and even my returning subscribers. So my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back. I do not take you for granted at all. My new subscribers, welcome on board. I pray that as you have subscribed to this channel, that you remember to turn on the notification bells, and that you would always come away with something you can practicalize and put to work in your day-to-day life. Thank you for watching. Till I come your way again, keep choosing love, keep choosing life, keep choosing peace.